Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the Archie Luxury Show. Look, I'd like to talk about a question I'm getting a lot of emails about, and I'm getting a bit of conflicting stories. Is Omega a true luxury watch? Okay, let me answer that. Firstly, I want to say Omega is not Rolex. It never will be. It never was Rolex, and it just can't be. Omega is far too mass market. Now, I'm really getting sick and tired of the way that Omega is structuring itself as another Rolex. And, if you want to move into the quality stakes, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't have it both ways. And what I mean by that is, it's like American Express. It was marketing its debit credit card as a luxury item until everyone had one. Then they had to release the gold card. Then they had to get platinum. And then they had to get the Centurion. And I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. Exclusivity means not many people have it. If everyone's got it, it's not exclusive. Now with Omega itself there, the problem is with Omega is that they really use too many generic ETA based movements, and they use gold plating on some pieces. Now I've had a number of questions. One person's come back to me and said, well, the Pro Prof. Well, the Pro Prof's not a current production model. Okay? The Pro Prof is a great watch. I'd love to have one in my collection. I have owned a Pro Prof. I bought it reasonably cheap. I paid, I think, under $1,000 for it, and I sold it for a couple thousand, and now it's worth a hell of a lot more. But look, the Pro Prof is a great watch. There's many great Omegas in the Omega history. You look at some of the old Omega Constellation Paipans. They're absolute classics. I've got a friend who's got an 18 karat yellow gold Paipan Omega with gold bracelet, and it's an absolute stunner. It's a gorgeous piece. No modern Omega can compare to that. Now the question is, you look at this quartz fucker on the screen here. It's an Omega Constellation. It's nowhere in that same class. So the real big question comes down to, is Omega a luxury watch? Well, I've said it before. The Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon is the cheapest form of entry into being accepted as a watch enthusiast, somebody who knows a bit about watches. The cut-off line, the line in the sand if you like, the automatic Speedmaster is not acceptable. It's a fucking automatic one. It's not the same. It's smaller. It's not the same thing. Is Omega a great brand? Look, they're okay. I'd much rather have an Omega compared to a Tag Heuer any day of the week. Does it make it a great watch? No, it doesn't. It's a watch for the masses. You've got to ask yourself, any brand that sells through chain store, jewelry stores that operate in shopping malls is really a brand. Do you really want to aspire to own it? And this is the thing. Omega is too mass market. It's too available. Look, here's a beautiful constellation on the screen here. Here's a two-tone constellation. It's nice, right? It's a great piece. Does it make it in line with a Patek? No, not by a long shot. It never will. There's, Omega itself there has had some atrocities. They've had some awful, ugly fuckers in their range. They do a lot of quartz pieces. So, my general comment is Omega is too mass market to be a luxury watch. There's a few exceptions. There's a few great watches. They had a history. They've got a history where they actually had some pretty decent watches in the past. They're a brand with some substance, and I do respect Omega for that. But Omega is really trying to be Rolex, and look, that spot's already taken. Rolex has it, and that's just life. That's how it goes in the big smoke. And Omega, I really do love Omega. I think they got some great things, but you see things like this Omega Speedmaster Automatic, and it's just a fucking, what is it? It's nothing special. And it's not a watch that a true man would wear, really. I don't think. I'm sorry, okay? This is my opinion. This is Archie Luxury's opinion. And you know, this is just the way I feel on it there. I think a luxury watch needs to be exclusive. It needs to be something that not everyone can afford. It needs to be something that you've struggled and saved and fought moral battles to conquer and win. And Omega is too readily available. The prices of the pieces, you know, they're not a true luxury watch. The finishing's not there. The movements are not there in a lot of pieces. And they're a mass market piece. That's not to say that there aren't some good Omegas. I've said it time and time again. The Speedmaster Man on the Moon is a great watch. But there are very few Omegas that I personally would wear. A lot of the modern constellations, you know, they're okay, but there's much better watches I'd rather own than that. And that's the way I feel with it. I mean, Omega's had some really great models. You know, even going back to the atrocious 70s, they had the Omega Dynamic series. You know, they were nice pieces. And there's a lot of good things that Omega has done over the years there. And you know, probably the worst thing Omega's done for itself is associate itself with James Bond. You know, pay per play, and that's kind of fucked me off. Really, that's. You know, it's too cliche. It's just a product placement. I can't stand that sort of thing. You know, if Omega wants to be treated seriously, they need to behave like a serious watchmaker. Patek doesn't have, you know, ambassadors for the brand who spruik the product. You know, it's a very different thing. Now, Omega would say, "Oh, but we got big market share. We got this." Well, look, do you want exclusivity or do you want market share? You can't fucking have it both ways, Charlie. You have it one way or the other. Exclusivity means not every fucker's got one. I mean, you can't have it both ways. But look, Omega's, you know, I've got a lot of respect for the brand, and I do like a lot of pieces. I had a friend who had a very nice vintage 1920s Omega dive watch, you know, one of the first waterproof watches that was out, and it's amazing. But there's a lot of Omegas came out mass market, mass produced, and they're just ugly fuckers. And this is the reality of it. For a brand to be exclusive, you know, it needs to have a limited market share. And this is the thing, Omega is too mass market. And what they did with James Bond pay per play and sponsorship and all this sort of shit, well, I fucking didn't want one. I don't know about anyone else, but did that make you race out and buy one? It certainly didn't for me. And I was quite proud. I had a Rolex, and I had a Rolex Explorer 1 at the time when that sponsorship deal happened, and I thought, fuck, this is, thank God it's not the Rolex that's making a complete goose of itself. And this is the whole thing. But I'm certainly, you know, my opinions that I have here are my opinions, and there's always exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, I think my advice is pretty right. And look, I've been sucked into the Omega brand myself there, but it's when you look at the fundamentals of it, I don't think Omega is a true luxury brand. There's a few models that are okay, but for the most part, Omega is not a true luxury brand. It's a mass market brand for the masses, and it will never be true iconic luxury. I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you think. Goodbye.